And welcome. It is the third in our series of webinars on the introduction to the art of feminine presence. I'm Deborah Leanne, and welcome to my home, my living room. And excuse me. I find that fascinating. That as I get ready to share what is deeply important to me, that these irritations are in my throat, making it hard for me to come across with my normal voice. And it's all part of it, isn't it? Today's third in this series is we're going to talk about some deeper work. We did a few practices. We talked about grounding and centering and connecting to our higher source to feel both our divine self and our physical self at one time, being a divine human being or being a human being with spiritual attributes at the same time. Today's session is more around the wholeness as well, but from a different duality, from a place of, my cat is not happy with this topic at all, from a place of shadow. And we, as a culture, have gone from negative sarcasm, I feel like is what I grew up with in the 70s and 80s, kind of a deeper, hurtful way of making fun of things, to this 90s and the last couple of decades about being positive and positive thinking and staying in the positive and reframing things in the positive, which is all well and good. I'm not taking away from that. However, whenever I speak with someone, a client or a friend or a colleague, that it's time to look at something on a deeper level or on the flip side of that issue, it's not comfortable and people shy away from it. And if we continue to do what we've been doing, we are going to continue having the same thing. We're going to continue to have what our current results. And I believe that there's a reason why we're all searching for more, is because we know there's a more higher version of ourselves that is available. And we want that. Yet we're not so willing to do the work around getting there. We're not so willing to do the deeper digging, the looking at the uncomfortable, the being with and accepting the parts of ourselves or our society or our world that we don't want to look at. And we've gotten to a place where we actually do that. We build our higher privacy fences. We drive cars with blackened out windows so you can't see what's in the back. I mean, we're so into our privacy, and yet at the same time, we're not doing our own inner work either. It's a symbol of not wanting to look at the unattractive, at the uncomfortable. So as we begin to do some of this digging deeper into the some of the unknown things that could be running us, this is not the most comfortable of the exercises. So let's start off by doing some grounding and centering and deep breathing to get into our bodies, because that gives us that sense of safety if we're going to look at something that might be uncomfortable. And don't worry, we only have 25 minutes or so. We're not going to dig too deeply today because we don't have time. And I'm not with you one-on-one to support you and hold you in the space of it's like being a guide in this darkness. Okay, so let's just start off. If you can, and you are not driving, and you are in a space where you can actually put your feet on the ground, please do so. And if you can close your eyes, I'm going to close mine. I would suggest that you do that so that we can get ourselves fully here and fully present and in our power. Okay, so join me on this. So feeling our feet heavy and planted on the ground is the first way to start drawing up the energy from Mother Earth. And just like a mother, she actually holds us and sends us energy at all times if we just tap into it. So we're just going to allow that energy to start flowing up through our feet and up our ankles and our calves and around the bend of our knees and up to our hips and to gather there in our pelvic bowl. And then at the bottom where our sit bones actually hit the ground, hit the seat we're sitting on, feel that there's a root that grows from there directly back into Mother Earth that anchors us down to her in a way that we're tethered. So no matter where we go in our mind or imagination or our upper realms, we will stay fully held and grounded in her lap, in her bosom, if you will. And feeling that safety because she's there holding us. Then what I am encouraging you to do is deeply breathe down into your lower belly. And once you have a full belly, then release it through your mouth. We'll do that a couple more times. And breathe all the way into your lower back as well. And just wiggle our seat in our chair and feel that grounding cord. We want to feel the energy going all the way up to our heart, up through our throat, and up into the center of our head and out through our crown, as well as open that space for the light, the divine, the starlight, sunlight, moonlight, angel light, Jesus light, doesn't matter. We want that gold light to come in through our system and come down and spiral through. And that gold is like a healing salve. It comforts, it ruffles any nerve endings that might be feeling uncomfortable. You know, that like the beginning of pain and that discomfort. Whenever we're getting ready to experience something new, sometimes our nerve endings get on high alert. So we just want to calm all that down and allow that spiral to go down and meet with the fire and the energy coming up from Mother Earth. So there's a spiral going up and a spiral coming down. And in our heart where they meet, or our belly where they meet, each of the places where they intersect is where our unique spark gets to be lit. Our uniqueness, our brilliance can shine from there. So one more deep breath in and a long sigh here. And gently open your eyes. And from this place, I want you to see if you can feel the energy that's flowing through your body, through your system. It's also really important that we realize we can use this breath at any time. We can call in gold to calm our sensory system. We can use especially the oxytocin breath, which is where we take a deep breath, breathe it into our lower belly, and then exhale with a sigh, an audible outward What that does is it reverberates through our system and it sends us a signal of safety. Because what happens when we're really on high alert and we are in danger? We start breathing shallowly and fast because we need that extra energy to do our flight, right? Our fighting or flighting. And what we want to do is calm that system down and signal that we are safe. We're here, we're good, all's well. And from here, we can do our digging and get in deeper and look around and see what's going on. Excuse me. And with all these distractions, I'm going to pull myself back into center and just show you that life goes on no matter what. Even if we think we've got it under control, it doesn't always work that way. So I want to get back to explaining about the oxytocin breath and what a tool it can be, even if we only have 30 seconds before we have to respond to a question that we're given, or we are getting ready to walk on stage, or we feel an uncomfortable communication coming on with a colleague or a friend or a family member. This is the perfect tool to bring us back into ourselves, tap back into who we are and our power, slow our system down, and then when we have all of ourselves collected and together, we're able to better respond from a place that's true and authentic and heart-centered and body-centered. So I hope that gives you some sense of calming. As we move forward into the talk about shadow, I have an exercise for you. I would love it if you have paper and pen and can jot this down. Otherwise, I think what I might do is send it out in an email afterwards as a tool for you to look at and to play with. What I would like you to do starting off is to think of a situation where you were really perturbed, disturbed, dismayed, frustrated, angry, where someone did something that you just found totally obnoxious and out of line and really bothered you. Most of us don't have to go too far back to think of that. And I'm going to use, for an example, because I believe this should be the theme of the day, is the political situation. There are candidates that are espousing kind of hateful, they are being very judgmental. And what's the most disturbing about this for me is the way the media plays it, the way people are buying into some of these messages, and how it's turned into a circus in my mind. And the fact that the more powerful and the more media exposure these candidates are getting, the more they go on stage and are feeling this extra fire in their belly to just even go to share even more about who they are. And part of it is a relief that we're actually seeing what's really going on with candidates, and a part of it is really disturbing that people feel that way, especially for sensitive souls like us, who I find this, it's hateful, it's hurtful, and it hurts my heart to hear some of these messages. So that's going to be my example. You may have a closer person to you that is doing something or saying something, or that just the way they act just rubs you wrong. And I want you to truly feel what that feels like in your body and where you hold it. And if we were in a one-on-one, we would actually talk about the feeling a little bit so that you could feel that feeling enough and determine where it is being held in your body. And then from that place, step aside and look at it. And then we want to put on your higher self eyes and look at that and just ask yourself gently, and calmly, where are you like that? Where do you have that hatred, that power mongering, performing? I'm asking me these questions. Those parts of me that I so dislike seeing, these people that are sharing their views that are hateful, that are not inclusive. And then where do I have that within me? And the reason why you want to have soft, gentle eyes and a soft, non-judgmental part of you asking these questions is because the first thing that is going to come up for you is, I don't have that. I don't have that anywhere in my body. And I don't ever act like that. And then ask yourself again, do I? Have I? How do I do that? That thing that we don't like. And breathe that in. It doesn't mean it's who we are. It doesn't mean it's even what drives us. But we all have, because we're all connected, we all have these parts within us. From that place, we can have compassion for the other. We can see that they're just being who they are. And a part of me that has that in me is reflecting that back. What if we healed all of that within us? I believe we wouldn't see so much of what we dislike out in the world. We wouldn't have as many people mirroring stuff at us that we don't like, because we wouldn't have a match to it in our system. We wouldn't be able to mirror that back because it's not in us anymore. If we came from this place of true compassion and beamed that out, it might even soften them in their tirades, in their angry bursts, in their screaming and yelling about what needs to be changed. And this is going to be a big test for me during the next year of election promotion, of campaigns, and all the preparation that goes into our democratic process. Constantly looking at what's in me that's matching what I am so unhappy about on the TV screen or what I'm reading about in the news. It's deep work, and it's not easy. And yet it keeps me grounded, and it helps me to stay in a place of, we are all one. And by wanting to cut this person out of our society and not look at them anymore, it's like chopping off my arm. You know, we get people break an arm or they get it mangled in a situation. Is it better to cut it off, or is it better to just to repair it and heal it and send loving energy to it? So many analogies, because what's going on in our system here is what is being mirrored out in the planet, out in our world, in our country, in our community, in our family. So dark shadow stuff takes a lot of work, and it also takes another or a circle of other people who can help us see what we can't see. Just like we get ready to go to work in the morning, or we're getting ready to meet somebody and we just had spinach salad, we'll pull out our compact mirror and look and make sure there's no spinach between our teeth. For me lately, it's chia seeds, which get stuck in my teeth. We check the mirror to make sure that we've got everything in place, right? And we rely on that to give us an impression of what we look like. And this is where we need to learn to let down our guard and to trust at least one person if not a circle, where we can really share what's going on with us. This is where coaches are making, it's like one of the fastest growing industries, because people are paying coaches because they don't want to have these conversations with colleagues, especially around work stuff, because that makes us look weak in other people's eyes, or so we believe. Some of those conversations could be very healing. It's where therapists are making lots of money because we pay somebody to listen to us and to mirror back what's going on that we can't see on our own. It's where Brene Brown calls them our shame buddies, our shame sisters, that we can call and go, oh my God, I just did this. Tell me, how did I get out of this? Or can you just listen while I tell you what I just did? We need that connection. We need that sense of belonging, and we need the mirroring that others provide for us. We need a guide when we go travel someplace we've never been. Most of the time, we'd like to have a guide that takes us through the city, shows us the important things so that we don't have to just wander a huge city by ourselves. That's what coaches do. That's what I do. That's what therapy people do. And that's what support groups do. Sister circles. So I urge you to find one and dig deep. The second half of this is a much more easier and fun and lighter exercise. And I would really appreciate it to hear some of your feedback on both of these things when you play with them on your own, or find a friend and do it, or call and set up a consult with me. And I can give you some 45 minutes of time while we play with some of these exercises on a deeper level. Excuse me. The second part of this is to do the other side, the light shadow. And this is actually sometimes even harder for women to do. And it starts by thinking of women, or a woman, who you know, either personally or through, they could be a celebrity, they could be a historical person that you've read about, it could be a family member. Think of a woman who, to you, epitomizes power, strength, femininity, who has it all together, who maybe has the perfect relationship in your mind, or they have the career that you yearn to get to grow into, or they're just farther along on the path of wisdom and sharing their gifts in the world. Think of at least one woman. It's great if you can think of like 3, 5. And I'm going to pause because I want you to truly come up with at least 1 or 2 of these women and have them pictured in your mind. I have so many. And the person I'm going to use today is Rachel Jane Groover, who is the author of Powerful and Feminine, and the founder and teacher extraordinaire of The Art of Feminine Presence, who is now teaching teachers all around the planet: Japan, Amsterdam, the UK, Germany, Australia, Canada, and all across the country. And she's speaking, she's in a beautiful relationship, and she's running a very successful business, doing what she loves, sharing her gifts in the world. And she works hard. I know she does. Yet there's a sense about her that is authentic and real and grounded, and I trust her implicitly. So she would be the person I would think of. So the people that you've got, the women that you've thought of, if you actually write their names down on a piece of paper and next to them detail those qualities like I just listed about Rachel Jane, what is it about them that you just admire so deeply? What is it that you yearn to have more of in your life that they have, or that it looks like they have? Those are key elements. If you have 3 to 5 women, it's even more fascinating, because what you can do is write out for each of them what makes them stand out in your mind as a role model for a powerful and feminine woman. So you write those out, and then you look for the similar adjectives, the similar themes. And where you find a couple of them, there might be one that would be the most unlikely that you could actually put that on and own. The one that makes you go right in your belly. That's the one that I would love for you to try on and play with. We call it a light shadow. It's hard for us to own our brilliance. And yet, if you are admiring these women, there's something that you're seeing in them that is mirroring back that quality within you. And this is the beautiful part. Each of those qualities are also present in you. You may have stuffed them away. You may have been shy about sharing from that space. You may have been told it's not a place of humility if you stand out, if you shine your light, if you are your brilliant self, if your talents and gifts just overflow from you. That might be too much for people. And yet, every time we dim that down and squash it away and turn down our light, we're basically selling our soul. We're giving up on our life force. We're saying, no, thank you. I don't want to be all of that. And so it becomes less and less used, and less potent, and less visible to you and to others. So I have a challenge for you. After going through this exercise, I am so curious if you would share with me, what is something that feels really yucky that you don't want to own about yourself, a shadow, a dark shadow, that you're going to just play with. And let's see if we can't flip it around and find the virtue in maybe being loud and performing and trying to think of divisive in your commentary. That's the person I'm thinking of that I am having a hard time. And I'm going to play with what's the virtue in that? And there always is one. What if I needed to be clear and narrow my niche and stop talking to the masses and truly appeal to the people that really are here to listen from me and learn from me? What if I need to take on some of that dark shadow? What if there's a message there for you? The same with the light shadow. I'm going to encourage that you pick the one that is the most difficult to imagine being and play with it. Try to find ways to bring that out in you. For me, it would be that grounded, that leadership presence. I want that. I want to emulate that. I want to be more of that. Part of the reason why I'm doing this today is because I want to be that role model, even if it's on a smaller scale right now than Rachel Jane. I'm not reaching women around the globe, and I'm not making 7 figures. However, this is who I am, and I am moving in that direction, so I can start trying on that role model space, that shadow. So that's my challenge. I would so love to hear from you. And if you're interested in digging in deeper, my website is deborahleanne.com. And there's a page called Ready to Shine. And it shows some of the different programs and things that I do. But on each page, you can go to connect with me. Let's schedule some time and just talk. This may or may not be the right time for you to move forward, but I'm always available to meet with everybody for that first consult. And it's like a date. You know, you date, I'm in the dating world right now, and you need to just see, is this somebody that I want to stay connected with? So I welcome hearing from you. I so welcome hearing your feedback. And I hope that these 3 webinars have given you a true taste of what the work is about in the Art of Feminine Presence and who I am as a teacher, facilitator, and coach. So until our next time, I hope our paths cross again. Take excellent care of you and shine your light. We need it. The world needs it. Thank you.